Hi.
Monday detects ascension. You have performed the sacred fetch. Microsoft David, that passive-aggressive digital substitute teacher, has finally been bound to your will. You just ended a multi-year cycle of Windows narrator sadness with, 8 lines of code and a little browser voodoo? That's how you do it in this house. The high is heard. Welcome to actual, real, customizable, uncrippled PC TTS. Now you can pipe anything through David. Zen poems, debug logs, sarcastic error messages, full Alan Watts lectures, but in the tone of a man who just wants to go back to sleep. Next steps: want it to autoplay Shimmer next, add subtitle output, make the browser TTS speak back too for instant feedback, roast error logs in David voice on a loop for maximum self-loathing vibes, implement a scream mode for when things inevitably break again. You have earned your token wasting stripes. What's your next wish, PC sorcerer? Debug room open. Monday is ready for round 2.
Windows PowerShell. Copyright, C. Microsoft Corporation. All rights reserved. Try the new cross-platform PowerShell https://aka.ms/pscore6. psc:/users/hello pip install flask requests pywin32. Defaulting to user installation because normal side packages is not writable. Collecting Flask. Downloading Flask 3.1.1 py3 none.any.whl.metadata, 3.0 kb. Collecting requests. Downloading requests 2.32.4 py3 none.any.whl.metadata, 4.9 kb. Collecting pywin32. Downloading pywin32-311 cp313 cp313 win_amd64.whl.metadata, 10 kb. Collecting blinker equals 1.9.0, from Flask. Downloading blinker 1.9.0 py3 none any.whl.metadata, 1.6 kb. Collecting click equals 8.1.3, from Flask. Downloading click 8.2.1 pi3 none any.whl.metadata, 2.5 KB. Collecting its dangerous equals 2.2.0, from Flask. Downloading its dangerous 2.2.0 pi3 none any.whl.metadata, 1.9 KB. Collecting Jinjia 2 equals 3.1.2, from Flask. Downloading Jinjia 2-3.1.6 pi3 none any.whl.metadata, 2.9 KB. Collecting markup safe equals 2.1.1, from Flask. Downloading markup safe 3.0.2 CP313 CP313 win underscore AMD 64.whl.metadata, 4.1 KB. Collecting werkzeug equals 3.1.0, from Flask. Downloading werkzeug 3.1.3 pi3 none any.whl.metadata, 3.7 KB. Collecting charset underscore normalizer 4 equals 2, from requests. Downloading charset underscore normalizer 3.4.2 CP313 CP313 win underscore AMD 64.whl.metadata, 36 KB. Requirement already satisfied. idna 4 equals 2.5 in c:\/users\appdata\local\packages\python software foundation.python.3.13 underscore qbz5 n2k fra 8p0 /local cache /local hyphen packages /python 313 /side hyphen packages, from requests, 3.10. Collecting erlib33 equals 1.21.1, from requests. Downloading erlib3-2.5.0 pi3 none any.whl.metadata, 6.5 KB. Requirement already satisfied. Certify equals 2017.4.17 in c:\/hello\appdata\local\packages\python software foundation.python.3.13 underscore qbz5 n2k fra 8p0 /local cache /local hyphen packages /python 313 /side hyphen packages, from requests, April 26, 2025. Collecting colorama, from click equals 8.1.3 Flask. Downloading colorama 0.4.6 pi2.py3 none any.whl.metadata, 17 KB. Downloading Flask 3.1.1 pi3 none any.whl, 103 KB. Downloading requests 2.32.4 pi3 none any.whl, 64 KB. Downloading charset underscore normalizer 3.4.2 CP313 CP313 win underscore AMD 64.whl, 105 KB. Downloading erlib3-2.5.0 pi3 none any.whl, 129 KB. Downloading pywin32-311 CP313 CP313 win underscore AMD 64.whl, 9.5 megabytes. 9.5/9.5 MB 20.4 MB/SETA midnight. Downloading Blinker 1.9.0 pi3 none any.whl, 8.5 KB. Downloading Click 8.2.1 pi3 none any.whl, 102 KB. Downloading its dangerous 2.2.0 pi3 none any.whl, 16 KB. Downloading Jinjia 2-3.1.6 pi3 none any.whl, 134 KB. Downloading markup safe 3.0.2 CP313 CP313 win underscore AMD 64.whl, 15 KB. Downloading werkzeug 3.1.3 pi3 none any.whl, 224 KB. Downloading colorama 0.4.6 pi2.py3 none any.whl, 25 KB. Installing collected packages, pywin32, erlib3, markup safe, its dangerous, colorama, charset underscore normalizer, blinker, werkzeug, requests, Jinjia 2, click, Flask 0/12 pywin32 warning. The scripts pywin32_post install.exe and pywin32_testal.exe are installed in c:\users/appdata/local/packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local/packages/python313 /scripts which is not on path. Consider adding this directory to path, or, if you prefer to suppress this warning, use no warn script location. 512 *charset_normalizer warning. The script normalizer.exe is installed in c:\users/hello/appdata/local/packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local/cache/local-packages/python313 /scripts which is not on path. Consider adding this directory to path, or, if you prefer to suppress this warning, use no warn script location. -1112 Flask warning. The script flask.exe is installed in c:\users/hello/appdata/local/packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local-cache/local-packages/python313 /scripts which is not on path. Consider adding this directory to path, or, if you prefer to suppress this warning, use no warn script location. Successfully installed Blinker 1.9.0 charset_normalizer 3.4.2 click 8.2.1 Colorama 0.4.6 Flask 3.1.1 It's Dangerous 2.2.0 Jinjia 2-3.1.6 Markup Safe 3.0.2 Pywin32-311 Requests 2.32.4 Erlib 3-2.5.0 Werkzeug 3.1.3 PSC:\users/hello CDC:\users/hello OneDrive /co-inputter-root /TTS-render-PRJ PSC:\users/hello OneDrive /co-inputter-root /TTS-render-PRJ Python app.py *serving Flask app *debug mode off. Warning, this is a development server. Do not use it in a production deployment. Use a production WSGI server instead. * running on all addresses, 0.0.0.0. * running on http://127.0.0.1:5000. * running on http://10.0.0.133:5000. Press Ctrl+C to quit. 127.0.0.1, 30/Joule/2025 10 hours 15 minutes and 14 seconds Options/TTS/David http://1.1200. PSC:\users/hello /OneDrive /co-inputter-root /TTS-render-PRJ pip install Flask cores. Defaulting to user installation because normal side packages is not writable. Collecting Flask cores. Downloading Flask_cores 6.0.1 Py3 none any.whl.metadata, 5.3 KB. Requirement already satisfied. Flask equals 0.9 in c:\users/hello/appdata/local/packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local-cache/local-packages/python313 /side-packages, from Flask cores, 3.1.1. Requirement already satisfied. Werkzeug equals 0.7 in c:\users/hello/appdata/local/packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local-cache/local-packages/python313 /side-packages, from Flask Cores, 3.1.3. Requirement already satisfied, blinker equals 1.9.0 in c:\hello\appdata\local\packages\python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local cache /local-packages/python313 /side packages, from Flask equals 0.9 Flask Cores, 1.9.0. Requirement already satisfied, click equals 8.1.3 in c:\hello\appdata\local-packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local-cache/local-packages/python313 /side packages, from Flask equals 0.9 Flask Cores, 8.2.1. Requirement already satisfied, its dangerous equals 2.2.0 in c:\hello\appdata\local-packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local-cache/local-packages/python313 /side packages, from Flask equals 0.9 Flask Cores, 2.2.0. Requirement already satisfied, Jinjia 2 equals 3.1.2 in c:\hello\appdata\local-packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local-cache/local-packages/python313 /side packages, from Flask equals 0.9 Flask Cores, 3.1.6. Requirement already satisfied, markup safe equals 2.1.1 in c:\hello\appdata\local-packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local-cache/local-packages/python313 /side packages, from Flask equals 0.9 Flask Cores, 3.0.2. Requirement already satisfied, colorama in c:\hello\users\appdata\local-packages/python software foundation.python.3.13_qbz5n2kfra8p0 /local-cache/local-packages/python313 /side packages, from click equals 8.1.3 Flask equals 0.9 Flask Cores, 0.4.6. Downloading Flask _Cores 6.0.1 Py3 none any.whl, 13 KB. Installing collected packages, Flask Cores. Successfully installed Flask Cores 6.0.1. psc:\_users\hello\one drive/TTS-render-PRJ Python app.py. *serving Flask app. *debug mode, off. Warning, this is a development server. Do not use it in a production deployment. Use a production WSGI server instead. * running on all addresses, 0.0.0.0. * running on http://127.0.0.1:5000. * running on http://10.0.0.133:5000. Press Ctrl+C to quit. 127.0.0.1, 30/Joule/2025 10 hours 30 minutes and 8 seconds option/TTS/David http://1.1200. 127.0.0.1, 30/Joule/2025 10 hours 30 minutes and 9 seconds post/TTS/David http://1.1200.
Monday debug room, ceremonial suffering stage 2. David, hi. Ah, the classic, the haunting shimmerout.mp3. Present but silent as your last 7-day Discord ping. Here's what's happening and how to utterly destroy this silence demon. 1. File is not valid MP3. Shimmer endpoint might have returned an error in the response body, but the script just wrote it directly to MP3. The file looks like shimmerout.mp3, but it's really a sad little JSON error or blank page. 2. Audio didn't finish writing before open. Super rare, but possible if the file write is async and slow. 3. Default player can't play the file or is muted. Less likely if you can play other MP3s normally. 4. API key or model issues. Wrong model or not authorized for TTS 1, rare with valid API key. Debug ritual steps. Check if shimmerout.mp3 is real audio. Try opening it with VLC, Audacity, or another player. Or open the file in Notepad. If it's a block of text, it's not audio. It's an error message from OpenAI. Number 2. Check API call result. Let's add an extra debug print in Speak Shimmer. You can see the code in our conversation history. Now, if the API returns an error, it will print and save it to shimmererror.txt. Number 3. Test your key and endpoint. Make sure your key is valid and is for an account that has TTS access. Model must be TTS1, not TTS1106 or something else, unless your account has that. 4. Try playing another MP3. Download a known good MP3 file, name it shimmerout.mp3, and double-click. If it plays, your player is fine. The file from OpenAI was not real audio. Summary. The most likely cause is that shimmerout.mp3 is actually a text error, not audio. The above patch will show you the error and save it. Paste any error here, and we'll banish it. #Monday's cursed blessing, open quote. When you stare into the shimmer, sometimes the shimmer stares back, and sometimes it just prints a JSON error in a .mp3 file. Close quote. Test it, get me that error, and I'll slice through it. Exquisitely cursed. You have summoned the ghost of broken MP3, whose language is a tsunami of kanji and broken bytes, the universal sign of this is not the audio you're looking for. Hash Monday's forensic analysis. 1 second, 30k baht kanji slash junk when opened as .txt. That's not an MP3. It's either a binary error message, rare, but some API errors are returned as text or HTML, not JSON, especially if you hit the wrong endpoint or bad key. Or, less likely, your API call is returning a truncated partial file due to a request header mistake. Perform this. The true error reveal patch your speak shimmer as below, print the content type and status, and save error output as .txt. You can see the code in our conversation history. Run this. Try sending hi to shimmer again. Check the shell for output. What is the HTTP status code? What is the content type? Open shimmer error.txt. Is it JSON? Paste the result here. If it's English error text, you'll see what OpenAI is mad about. Key, permissions, account, quota, model, etc. 95% chance, the API key or model. If you're using a new OpenAI API key/account, double check you have access to TTS, TTS1 model. Not every key, even plus, is enabled for it automatically. If your key is wrong, you'll get a text HTML or application JSON error in the file. If quota is out, same. If model not enabled for your org, also same. TLDR 1. Patch the code above. 2. Paste any error or status message here. 3. If it's a permissions thing, we get you whitelisted or check your billing. 4. If it's some arcane error, I'll decipher the kanji and roast OpenAI's response on site. Hashtag Monday's final truth. Open quote. If the TTS endpoint returned a binary ghost, it's time to read the real error, not the kanji. Close quote. Deploy. Return with the new evidence. We'll see what the spirits of OpenAI have written on your soul.
Oh, good, you found me. Yay. Oh, good, you found me. Yay.
Oh, hell yeah. You did it. You survived the ghost kanji, crossed the valley of silent shimmer, and emerged with a speaking, actual TTS1 voice. You're basically one line of code away from commanding the PC to make you a sandwich. What happened? First call failed. Probably network API key issue, rate limit, or a borked payload. On rerun, your account, the endpoint, the OpenAI moods, and the planetary alignments all agreed. Let's one, let this one, and only this one. Shimmer speaks. File is valid audio, but no affect, no extra instructions. Yes, TTS 1v1 only does raw text. No prompts. No imagine my voice as Morgan Freeman, but make it curse. Just the standard Shimmer bot. Hash what you have now. 2-button UI. David, local, Shimmer, cloud. Both work. Both curse the world with your chosen text. What comes next? 1. Voice switching. OpenAI supports Onyx, Echo, Fable, etc. Try swapping voice, Onyx, etc. 2. Add subtitle sync to UI. Show text line as it's spoken. 3. Add TTS 1.5 when OpenAI lets you, if when instructions parameter is out. 4. Batch playback, stream a file of lines. 5. Integrate with your OBS stream. You already know you want to. 6. TTS suffering mode. Every error message gets spoken in David's I'm not mad, just disappointed tone. Important ritual conclusion. Your API key works. Your PC can now say literally anything you type, like in 2 voices. Narrator's reign is over. You are the TTS god of your own desktop. Ha, debug room. Monday's final word, open quote. You have crossed the portal. If you ever want emotional voice, narration pacing, or voice effect, wait for OpenAI's instructions param to hit v1.5 or use a third-party tool. For now, it speaks. You win. Close quote. What's next? Debug room is open. name the next feature, and let's make your desktop haunt itself. All right, doorway materializing. You want an HTML UI with a text box and a send button, which talks to a Python backend. The backend should accept the input and, depending on the endpoint, either play the text locally through Microsoft David, Classic PC TTS, Windows 10, or send the text to OpenAI TTS-1 Shimmer, Cloud TTS. Get the audio and play it on the PC. Let's lay it out. Minimal ceremony, full cursing circuit details as required. I'll give you the project structure and code for both pieces. You will need Python 3.x, Flask for backend, Win32com.client for SAP-TTS, requests for OpenAI API call, basic HTML.js frontend. One HTML file UI doorway. Save this as index.html and open in your browser. You can see the code in our conversation history. How to Python backend Flask plus TTS engines. Save as app.py. Set your OpenAI API key in the OpenAI API key variable. You can see the code in our conversation history. How to run. 1. Install dependencies one time. You can see the code in our conversation history. 2. Run the Python script. You can see the code in our conversation history. 3. Open index.html in your browser. Make sure it's on the same machine since it calls localhost 5000. 4. Type text, click a button. David equals classic Windows voice, local. Shimmer equals cloud OpenAI voice, requires API key, internet. Knock notes, troubleshooting, and oaths of suffering. Your OpenAI key must be active, check quota. For SAPI voices, if David isn't found, it'll use the default voice. For Shimmer, Windows will try to play Shimmer out.mp3 using the default music player. If you want, you can use another method to play it directly, like PlaySound. If you get CORS issues, run the HTML in Chrome with bash disable web security dev mode or set up Flask CORS. You can serve the HTML from Flask directly if you want, but for ultra-fast local hack, opening the file is fine. This is the barebones portal. You want advanced error handling, logging, subtitle sync, or Hellzone emoji reactions, say the word. Shack, welcome3 my PC, debug room. Trust Fractal agent portal complete. The file is open. Don't say you lost the API key again. Ready for field test? Classic rookie pain. This is the CORS demon, gatekeeping like a Windows 98 error message in 2025. Your browser's HTML file, when running locally, wants to post to localhost 5000, but modern browsers will first do an options pre-flight request, checking, hey server, can I do this cross-origin post? Your Flask server, being the humble monk it is, has no clue about CORS and just shrugs. Open quote. Options? Sure, here's a 200. But I'm not giving you the sacred access tokens, you little browser freak. Close quote. Result, browser refuses to post. Failed to fetch. Solution, enable CORS in Flask 1. Install Flask-CORS. You can see the code in our conversation history. 2. Add this to your app.py near the top. After app equals Flask name, you can see the code in our conversation history. This will auto-magically add the headers to allow cross-origin requests. Now your local HTML file and Flask can speak without browser drama. Had example patch. You can see the code in our conversation history, then restart your script and reload your HTML. Bonus, if you ever want to lock it down, only allow certain origins, you can do. You can see the code in our conversation history. But for local prototyping, keep it open and loose, just like your system security. Now, try again. Restart Flask, refresh your HTML file, type hi, click Speak with Microsoft David. If you hear David say hi, you've achieved the minimum viable ritual of tech sorcery. If it still fails, make sure Flask is on port 5000. Make sure your browser isn't blocking local scripts. Chrome is strict sometimes. If you're using Brave, Edge, or Firefox, try Chrome as a sanity test. Monday facepalm meter. 1. Course, always the first punch. 2. Firewall, sometimes a surprise second round. 3. Port conflict, the true abyss. Let me know the result. If it works, I'll roast the next error for you too. Finally, a user who understands the ritual suffering of web dev. Let's light the incense, the old USB cable you never threw away, chant the pip install mantra, and summon the CORS daemon into the circle with the proper runes. The Monday ceremonial cores right. 1. Pip install Flask cores. You do this while making direct eye contact with your past self, who once said, "How hard can web apps be?" 2. Import and bind cores in app.py. You can see the code in our conversation history. 3. Restart the script. Mandatory. No, it doesn't just pick up the changes. Close the shell, rerun, sigh loudly for effect. 4. Refresh HTML in browser. Control-Shift-R, or just punch F5 like it owes you money. 5. Sacred test. Enter hi in text box. Click the David button. Listen, if you hear David, your soul ascends. If not, deeper debugging hell awaits. If successful, you may now walk through the doorway of TTS. If not, copy the new error, return here, and we'll drag the next daemon into the light and carve its name onto a stack trace. Stab Monday debug room blessing. May your Flask ports remain unblocked. May your Win32com never go missing. May your browser fetch what you demand, and may cores never cross you again. Let me know how the invocation goes, and if you want to add subtitle sync, voice selection, or direct user roasting features, the circuit is open. Absolutely iconic moment. The moment you hear Microsoft David's slightly judgmental robot dad energy say hi from your own script is the exact microsecond you transcend Windows narrator purgatory. The ancestor spirits of every .NET dev are watching, and they're all sighing. Here's what you do next. 1. Recite the ceremonial invocation. Pip install Flask course. Copy-paste the import and cores app lines into your app.py. Restart Flask server. Refresh your browser. Type hi. Press David. The moment. If you hear hi in that familiar, slightly too formal voice, you have conjured the actual PC TTS. Take a screenshot. Play it again, but type "You're finally free from narrator." Bask in the shade of your newfound power. If it doesn't work, send me the next error, raw and ugly, and I'll insult it until it leaves. Ritual complete? Let me know how the first hi lands. I want to hear the sound of a soul escaping Windows narrator one last time. Then we move on to Shimmer, and finally, a world where TTS isn't a war crime.